Salutations. I'm Poetic Heretic, and I'm here with a report on Luciferianism. It is a rather infamous subject indeed, and I should start out by saying that I personally am not a Luciferian, nor am I a hardcore believer in the alleged Luciferian conspiracy that is said to be worldwide. What I'm here to do is to present the findings of my research in this report on a subject that is very interesting and that I try to take as objective of a viewpoint on as possible, though I will admit my personal opinion does tend to shine through at times in the report. But without further ado, let us begin. This is a report entitled Luciferianism. The belief system of Luciferianism is as interesting as it is controversial in the eyes of many. This report aims to reveal what exactly Luciferianism is, what Luciferians believe, what they do not believe, and what some of the more extreme views about them are. I take no sides in this report. I am simply going over the findings of my research. To begin, Luciferianism refers to Lucifer, a name meaning light bearer or morning star. The morning star refers to the planet Venus, as does the name Lucifer in Latin. The belief system represents rebellion against all orthodoxy, though it is not as rebellious as Satanism, an entirely separate religion. Additionally, it represents progress and intellectual inquiry, as well as creativity, freedom, perfection, exploration, and experience-based knowledge, via what occultists call the left-hand path. It is also about knowledge of self, the discovery of everything that makes one an individual. While there is no one set of beliefs that all Luciferians adhere to, some generalizations can be made. Luciferians believe strongly in freedom of speech and individuality. They also generally believe in Aleister Crowley's "Do What Thou Wilt" from the Book of the Law. To them, Lucifer is a being that helps bring enlightenment. He is also a being of balance, representing both light and dark, as well as the spiritual and the carnal in one entity. Some believe he is real, while to others he is only symbolic. Luciferians tend to see Satanists as more about rebelling against Christianity, while they are more about walking their own path, regardless of any other religion. Some Luciferians criticize Satanists for their resistance, but still acknowledge their Luciferian beliefs are quite different from the beliefs of Christianity. They tend to see Luciferianism as a progression or evolved form of Satanism. The belief that Lucifer is about freeing humanity from the illusions of Yahweh is also common amongst Luciferians. They respect the being or idea of Lucifer as opposed to worshipping him. They are also not particularly antagonistic towards those following Christianity. They often view Christians as victims of their own religion, unable to escape it. Additionally, they disagree with the paradigm of God and religion. They do not see things in terms of good and evil, nor do they believe in heaven and hell, or if some do, not in the way a Judeo-Christian does. A number of Luciferians delve into magic and, at least according to some sources, see it as an ongoing process of self-improvement. It is important to point out that Luciferianism is not Satanism, as some still seem to believe. It is not even a subset of Satanism, or anything similar. It is also interesting to note that even the Christian Bible does not use the names Satan and Lucifer interchangeably, but instead Lucifer is only mentioned in one verse, Isaiah 14:12. In some translations he is not mentioned at all, but instead referred to as the morning star. According to many, the verse actually referred to the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar. And interestingly enough, the word Satan originally was only a term describing the adversary who challenged the Hebrews' faith. It was not a name. Luciferians see Satanists as not spiritual at all, focus only on the physical. At the same time, many Luciferians see Lucifer and Satan as different sides of the same coin, Satan being physical and Lucifer being spiritual. At least in the minds of Luciferians, Satanists seem to indulge in what the church defines as sin only because the church defines it as such. Luciferians can also not truly be defined as evil, for they do not see Lucifer as evil at all, and acknowledge that only a psychopath would worship a being of true evil. There will undoubtedly, however, be some people who strongly disagree with this notion. There are hordes of conspiracy theorists who very much believe that Luciferianism is at the heart of a worldwide conspiracy that many call the New World Order. One of the most common networks that is said to be tied to this Luciferian conspiracy is that of Freemasonry. Most reference an alleged speech by Albert Pike, a famous Freemason. In this speech, Pike basically says Lucifer is God. However, Masons today claim this was a hoax by Leo Taxil, and it must be pointed out that Taxil confessed this in 1897. The allegation that those at the top of Freemasonry are Satanists is even more questionable, considering Lucifer is not the same as Satan. I also must say that while doing the research for this report, it continually perplexed me that those believing in a Luciferian conspiracy never seem to address the belief by actual Luciferians that Lucifer is different from Satan. I'm not saying the conspiracy theorists are definitely wrong, but I must wonder why they never seem to point this out. Or if they believe it is a lie that Lucifer and Satan are separate, I must then wonder why they don't say so. But to be fair, I shall point out that Freemason Robert Lomas has stated that inherent in the beliefs of Freemasonry is the fact that Freemasonry is neither supportive nor unsupportive of devil worship. One could easily conclude from that statement that some Freemasons worshipping the devil is at least theoretically possible. I leave this to the viewers to decide. Those who believe in the conspiracy reference Alice Bailey, successor of Madame Blavatsky, founder of the Theosophist cult and inspiration of Hitler's. They point out that Bailey openly admitted worshipping Lucifer and founded the Lucis Trust, apparently named after Lucifer. Its members included powerful Americans, and it was in favor of the United Nations and a one-world government. They claim Albert Pike wrote in his book Morals and Dogma that he worships Lucifer. I must admit I am skeptical of this claim, however, because after looking at the quote in its original context, it very much appears Pike was indeed not saying he worshipped Lucifer. The full quote is a bit long for inclusion in this report, but those interested can easily find it with a quick Google search. The believers in the Luciferian conspiracy conclude that the Luciferian elites do evil, such as engineering wars, genocide, economic collapses, etc., for the sake of doing evil. At the more extreme end of the spectrum are at least some of the theorists who believe that the main goal of the New World Order is actually a religious one, to get the whole world to worship Lucifer as God. While these are about the farthest views from those I could endorse, they claim the increasing centralized control is preparation for all nations to worship Lucifer. They also believe there will be actual legislation demanding everyone on the planet worship some kind of image or statue of Lucifer. With that, however, I must conclude this report. There is, of course, volumes and volumes of conspiracy information out there, but those familiar with my beliefs these days know that I would caution people not to delve too deeply into anything unwanted, lest they begin attracting more of it. And that is the main reason why I've only provided a summary of the alleged Luciferian conspiracy here. My advice to people who are interested in any part of this report and want to research it further is to remember to pay attention to how the information affects your emotional state, and don't let it start to negatively impact your life. If you have fun being anything from a Luciferian to a conspiracy theorist, then more power to you. But if not, I highly recommend you consider placing most of your attention elsewhere. As the old adage goes, be careful when staring into the abyss, that the abyss does not begin staring back into you.